Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the World Changing Podcast, what I like to call another fireside chat. And on today's call, I wanted to go ahead and talk about something that I consider important. Now, a lot of my stuff I talk about, I do consider important, mind you. However, what I would like to go and talk about today is saying yes. Now, not only saying yes, but saying yes to yourself and how we're able to make our dreams come true. And isn't that a great, fantastic thing? Making our dreams come true and doing it in the aspect that you are creating these dreams. These are the things that you are achieving for yourself, and no one is giving you your dreams. No one is giving you the vision. You yourself are creating this particular vision. Now, let me give a little bit of backstory as to how come we're talking about this, especially in today's world where we hear things, nightmarish things about recessions and what's going on with the Federal Reserve and what's going on with prices being inflated. And basically, we're heading into what is considered a recession that is out there. Now, again, I am not one to talk scary things. I don't like bringing those words, those concepts out onto the podcast just because I know that's a very uncomfortable topic. And I know a lot of people are really dealing with this particular fact right here that we do have a inflation that's going on right now, and we need to be at our absolute best when it comes to protecting ourselves. Now, a lot of these times when we're trying to protect ourselves from the uncomfortable, we are scared to take a risk. We are scared to take a chance on our dreams. And today's episode is really going into how come in this time, in this place, in this moment that you are listening to my voice right now, how come it's so important to go ahead and do that. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory, right? On this journey that I've taken, with podcasting, financial investing, Forex trading, this journey really started about 2 years ago for me. Now, back then, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. In fact, I could consider myself just kind of drifting in and out of things, whether it was my adolescence growing up, with elementary school, middle school, high school, and then coming out here for college, and then drifting over to Aurora, where I went ahead and I took some jobs here and there, worked in the financial industry for a little bit with TCF National Bank, Charles Schwab, all those good places. And what I really started to recognize with myself is I was lost, man. I was lost. I didn't know what I truly desired for myself. Yes, I did a lot of things. I dabbled in a lot of things, but I really didn't get a sense of what I truly wanted out of life. And it came to a point, it came to a halt right around when the pandemic started 2020. It's incredible, by the way, if we really think about it, how, yes, the pandemic is awful. A lot of people had to move to the next part of their plan and what I call the next plane of existence because of the pandemic. There is no denying that. And I'm not going to just dismiss that because that is truly a very emotional thing that happened, a very heavy thing that a lot of people went through, including myself. Yet, if we think about it, the pandemic was also a perfect time for us to reinvent ourselves, understand, okay, what is it that we truly wanted out of life? And I had the opportunity to really explore that particular passion of mine, first in podcasting. I've talked about it before, but I did the Keeping It 100 podcast with a couple of great friends of mine. Leo Rydell, Desmond Lawrence come to mind, and they are fantastic people. And by the way, Leo Rydell, He's doing Geekly Goods. I made a Instagram post, a social media post. Go check out his channel. All you have to do is go on to youtube.com and type in Geekly Goods. Super simple. You'll love it. Trust me. Yet I want to come back to this main story of, yes, I did that podcast. And then right around the Halloween, end of October in 2020, and a lot of other things came to mind, which it's incredible how the universe kind of works in that fashion, right? I went into going or joining a network called the X Squad Network. And there was this particular person I met called Chica Simone. I mentioned her name a couple of times already on the show, how she got me into Forex trading. And then I got into Tradera and then Gobi Trade House. And now what I'm doing with the 8-Minute Trader and Longevity. It's all very incredible. And as I start to reflect in that journey a little bit, I asked myself, how did I get here? Right? I always avoided the tyranny of how, and I still do. I allowed things to happen because of my what and my why, which we'll dive into in just a little bit. Yet, how did I get here? And to me, it was based on the fact that I committed to saying yes to myself and following my dreams, achieving part of my dream, part by part, day by day, brick by brick, step by step. What we were talking about, Kaizen, the most important principles. So to make a long story short, because I do tend to ramble on a little bit, saying yes to yourself over others is important, especially now where I've gotten to is because of the fact that I have been able to follow my dream specifically and be my own guiding light as to what do I need to choose, where do I need to go, and as heavy as it's going to sound, who and what I need to leave behind in the process. Because again, this is my third podcast, my second Forex trading company that I'm a part of, partnered with. And there were some things, there were unfortunately some people and some projects that I have built that I had to go ahead and leave behind because of not what someone else wanted for me, but what did Jordan want for me? And I feel that there are a lot of things that a lot of you who are listening, I know you have things yourself that you want to do, but are either afraid to do it or can't do it because of what other people may deem. And it's time that we stop that. It's time that we put the attention, put the focus back on us and cut all negativity. To quote a song by Bazzi, I think the artist is Focus. If you haven't checked that song out, check it out, by the way. Fantastic song. Yet the way that we do this is we need to know what our self-worth is. Now, I've talked about this particular course that I listened to, or I'm sorry, that I watched, took notes on by Trent Shelton. Absolutely amazing person. I mentioned his name, of course, a couple of times on the show already, but he is such a fantastic person that I can't help but speaking such positive and amazing things about him. Yet one of the more recent things I was able to do over the course of last month, October. Can't believe it's November already, by the way, but no, that's another story for another day. But coming back to October, I went ahead and I checked out his course, The Self-Worth Method. And there were a lot of things that I had to reflect after watching the course in its entirety and understanding, whoa, there were some powerful things that either I was already doing or I needed to learn in order to move forward in the right direction. So what are those particular things? What are those particular lessons, the big picture concepts, I should say, I was able to take from Trent Shelton's course? And it's this: creating acceptance and confidence in yourself. Now, there are a lot of things that I had to own up to, accept within myself that I didn't necessarily what I'd like to call really get into starting this out. For example, I realized that a lot of the time when I was going through my particular projects, going through the particular things I used to do back then, I recognized and I accept that in the past I was a huge people pleaser. I did things, I interacted with people because I wanted people to like me, people to essentially approve of me, people to be tolerant of me. And the more I did that, I feel the more of my energy that went out into the world and I didn't receive it back. And I don't know about you, but for me, and I feel like a lot of us, especially since if we're of the giving type, if we're givers, we're big hearted, we're compassionate empaths. We feel people's emotions and we do the best to make them feel good. And I think that's one of my absolute amazing strengths is the fact that I can be an empath and that I can make people feel good and I can relate to them. And I can connect with them and I can understand subconsciously what's going on, even if I don't have 100% grasp on it, if that makes sense. And while that is a strength, that is also was a big, huge weakness is that I gave so much of myself that I tried to I couldn't understand what did Jordan desire? And I feel the last couple of years have really helped me to understand that there were not only things I was accepting that I could no longer accept, but there were things that I had to also understand were a part of my foundation because of just the way that I am. And the self-worth method taught me to not only accept those parts of me that were from the past that could be reconfigured to something else, but also to bring about the confidence that the strengths I do have are gifts that needed to be shared to the world. No, I'm confident enough to say, and we're going to get into exactly how I was able to get this particular confidence, but I have the confidence to be the top podcaster in the world. I have the confidence to be the top financial coach in the world. And having that confidence within yourself, especially once you say yes to yourself, is super key, super crucial when it comes to getting things done. And then let's talk about creating boundaries to protect your self-worth. And that's very important because, again, I did not have boundaries. I allowed people, especially those who were needing my help when I was starting to do this early, I allowed people to call me at some late points in my day, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mountain time. And even on the East Coast, I allowed myself to get up on these crazy hours just to help people without realizing, wait a minute, Jordan can't do that all the time. Jordan has his own life. Jordan has his own priorities. How come I am not focusing on my priorities and I'm focusing on somebody else's priorities? And it was a huge pill to swallow after I got out of some of the things I needed to get out of because they weren't helping me. And I take full responsibility of the fact that I allowed this stuff to get to me when it shouldn't have gotten to me. I take full responsibility in the fact that I allowed my boundaries to be pushed and for people to walk all over me because I didn't develop a backbone that was important to now what I do. So, how do I protect those boundaries? Well, A, I don't work weekends anymore. Anyone tries to get a hold of me on the weekends, I tell them, no, absolutely not. You can reach me Monday to Friday. And also, I don't work past 8 o'clock Mountain Time because I need, or actually, you know what? I'll say I don't work past 8 o'clock, period, because I need my time to take care of myself. I need, what I normally do is I set aside about 2 hours of my time from about, for those that don't know my schedule, I usually wake up at around 4:30 in the morning. Now, depending on how this new schedule that I've been doing, that I've been essentially alluding to on episode 4 or day 42 of my Forex trading journey, which you haven't checked that out, check out day 42 of my Forex trading journey, not to plug that in, but there we are. However, coming back to the point here, what I have now decided to do is try out a new sleep schedule, where I'm now going to wake up at 4 a.m. because of some of the steps that I'll be taking. But main point, right? So schedule wise, I go from about 5 a.m. I'm sorry, when I wake up, I do a quick pre-morning ritual. It is the first ritual I do every particular day. And it's important because that is the catalyst for my day, right? And so from then 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., what I then do is I trade. That's primarily the time I use to record the Forex trading days that a lot of us are aware about. And then afterwards, I then take from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I do the things that either come onto my plate. I take some time to learn, grow, develop, educate myself to achieving those things that I want to achieve for myself. And also what I do is I help people. A lot of it comes down to growing, nurturing connections, and helping people. Now, again, boundaries concerned, I stopped at around 8 o'clock, but let's even take a step further than that. Some people that I used to help, they took calls from about an hour to an hour and a half, and I realized how much time I wasted because I was answering so many questions, and a lot of the information I was even talking about, it wasn't retained. And a lot of that, again, has to do with me for A, not setting proper boundaries, and B, for not being a better teacher at that point. In fact, I would dare to say that I was not even thinking about teaching, and more so just acting in the customer service role. And while that is a great foundation, I now understand that I need to do a lot more than just be a customer service agent nowadays in order to really get the point across. So, with that being said, I only now allow people to talk with me 40, especially for any help, support, or anything like that, 40 minutes at a time. If we go over 40 minutes, I say you can book an appointment with me the next day or a different day. And I have to keep to that schedule because I know I have so many other commitments, so many other things I want to do to help me grow. So I have to go ahead and allow that time limit, that cap, to be put in place again to protect my boundaries and to protect my self-worth. And also, I need to create an environment to nurture and grow your self-worth. You need to do that. Now, again, in this journey, there are people that I'm grateful are still a part of my life because they give me the environment in order for me to be nurtured, to be developed, to feel that I do belong, that I feel like I can contribute, I feel I make an impact, and I choose that environment to grow in. Back in the day, I didn't choose that. I was wound up in so many different environments, so many different people that were not the best for me looking back. And there were some very tough choices I had to make when I first started this journey, where some people just had to be let go because they had to be let go. And it was tough. I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say at that moment that it was very comfortable, nor did I enjoy that process. Yet it had to be done because of the person I am destined to become. And it is tough when you think about it, right? Setting up those boundaries or plate or, making sure your environment is created in the right way. There is a way to do it though. And what I will say is you have to do it piece by piece. You have to look at what you're allowing. You have to look at the things that you want for yourself. And you have to ask this question: are the boundaries I am setting, is the environment that I am conductive or congruent or conjunct, or is that aligning with the person I desire to become? And if that's not, and again, you have to get honest. And if it's not, understand then that there are tough choices down this road that you must make. And it's not easy. I get it. I've been there in your shoes. It is not easy to really understand what can be allowed in your life and what cannot be allowed in your life. For example, right? And I told this before, but I was the person that I would desire a life partner, a soulmate in my life. And the problem with wanting that is, and this stems all the way from even when I was in my middle school, high school years, and I was very good at hiding this, but I had a severe problem with addictions towards sex, for lack of a better word. I had a problem with masturbation, and in a sense that I did it way too often. And I just remember, so I made a decision. It was last Tuesday to give that up and also give up marijuana, because both of those things I know did not serve me in particular when it came to the things that I desired. If you want to attract a intimate relationship, if you desire that partner that you want, if you desire that love that you want, then you need to stay away from porn. I'm proud to say I've kept to that commitment. I'm proud to say that I have gone. Now it's tough, right? Again, this is a addiction I'm dealing with, and it is something where it's not like I don't get those thoughts every day or that temptation to go ahead and go onto a porn site and commit to it. But I'm proud of myself in the fact that I'm really holding myself to this commitment of not doing it, even though it is tough. So, I mean, those are the things that you have to go ahead and ask yourself: are the things that you are doing at this present moment helping you or not serving you? And if there are things that that are not serving you, then you have to make a very, very committed decision to stop doing those things, because then you will go ahead and attract the stuff that you want in your life. Now, how did I go ahead and really find out what I desired in my life? Well, that comes to a point with journaling. I want to talk about journaling. So every day, and I've talked about this, every day I write. I don't know if you can really see this, but I've got two journals, right? In fact, hold on, let me do this. I've got so many notebooks nowadays because of what I do, being a great student. But anyway, not the point. But I got two journals right here, and I don't know if you can see them, but the idea is I've got two journals, and with these two journals are things that I desire in a life partner, a soulmate, and what I also desire for in myself. So what I do with these journals is every day I write down what I desire, and I write it in this particular phrase: I am so grateful now that blank, blank, blank. And I started doing this in July of 2021. And I have to be grateful for Jake Ducey for introducing this particular concept to me. And with journaling, or as he likes to call it, scripting, I take a notebook page, excuse me, I take a notebook page and I write down specifically what what I'm so grateful for now, even if it's not reality. And here's the reason how come I do that. Even if the things that you desire are not present in your reality, you can, and this is true, you can trick the brain into understanding what it needs to think, what it needs to create in terms of thoughts, even if it is true or not. So let me explain. I am grateful. Let's do the soulmate part first. I am so grateful now that my soulmate and I are devoted to each other. I am so grateful now that my soulmates and I are world-changing emperor and world-changing empress. Now, I've taught religiously, and we'll get to the other journal in just a second, that I am a world-changing emperor. And I write that down consistently, daily, so that it's stuck in my head. And because it's stuck into my head, I can speak it into existence. And because I speak it into existence, there's power. The universe can hear me, and the universe it won't magically give me that title or magically give me the things that will become the world-changing emperor, but it will provide opportunity. It will plant seeds that I can go ahead and act upon in order for me to travel and walk down that path. So what does that mean? What does that all mean, right? Let's come back to the other journal. So because I write all that stuff down consistently, and there's so many other things I can get to, but I don't want to make this like a day-long episode. But what I do specifically is I write down, what I am grateful for. Again, even if it's not at the present, the universe hears what I'm saying, and it gives me, or it at least sees what I'm writing down, because the paper can't talk, but it can paint a picture. It can show a visualization of what I want, what I desire, and the universe will allow opportunities and moments for me to go ahead and walk down that particular path. And so I want to go back to some of the things that I had to let go of that no longer serve me so I can have that. So masturbation is one, and marijuana is also another, but more so for the personal stuff right here. So I am so grateful now that I'm a world-changing emperor. I'm so grateful now that I'm a 10, 11, 12 counting figure earner. I'm so grateful now that I am a global network, all that stuff, right? And the reason I can go ahead and say all of these things with confidence. I'm so grateful now that I'm a top podcaster in the world. I am so grateful now that I am the top financial coach in the world. The reason I can say this with confidence is because I've wrote it down for a very long time. Again, I go back to the fact that I have been journaling since July of 2021. And so because I've taken a year to write all this down, these thoughts are still implanted within me. These are some of the because the human mind, right? It produces 60,000 thoughts a day. And what I write down specifically in these journals daily are a majority of the thoughts that I think. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't have negative thoughts. It doesn't mean that I won't have things that try to impede or become an obstacle or stop me from doing those things. That's going to happen. That is normal. So don't worry about that. Those thoughts will indeed happen to you. Yet, with that being said, I have the choice to not allow those thoughts to control or influence what I decide to do on a daily basis. So the power of journaling to me, in terms of saying yes to what you want, is indeed the most important thing. So when I say yes to being a world-changing emperor, when I say yes to being a 10, 11, 12 counting figure earner, when I say yes to being a global network. I say it with emphasis because I've been writing this stuff down. When I say yes, that I am so grateful now that my soulmates and I are in love with each other. I am so grateful. I say yes to I'm so grateful now that my soulmates and I are loyal to each other. I am so grateful. I say yes to I'm so grateful now that my soulmates and I are attracted to each other. I say yes to I'm so grateful now that my soulmates and I are natural entrepreneurs. All this stuff, right? I say yes to all that because I've got this written down, and those are thoughts that will never go away. And as long as I continue to write these thoughts down daily, or I journal daily with this in mind, then I have no choice, right? And here's the important part. I have no choice but to accomplish those said things. What is it that you desire that if you were to journal right now, you would take 5-10 minutes out of your day, some maybe even 15 minutes. You take a notebook page, you write down what you desire, and you do that consistently, do that daily. What are then some of the thoughts that are going to pop up that will truly change your life for the better? And again, give yourself permission to dream big. Give yourself permission to think of a grand picture, a grand vision for yourself. There is no rule out in this universe that says you have to dream to a certain limit. Limits are the killers of dreams. And there's no reason we can go ahead and push past those limits. Now, that doesn't mean obstacles won't come up, limits won't come up, but we can, with the proper mindset, go ahead and push past those limits, crush those limits, if we give ourselves and we say yes to giving ourselves permission to dream big. So it's super important that you do indeed allow yourself to dream big, because at that point, then you'll be unstoppable, you'll be unshakable, and you'll have the courage, even though you were afraid of that dream and achieving that dream, you will still have the courage to pursue that dream because you said yes to yourself. Be the one that says yes to taking control of your destiny. Be the one that says yes to you. Be the one that says yes to putting the focus back on me and cutting off the negativity. Be the one that says yes to journaling your dreams down, what you are grateful for in that particular script. All you have to do is say, I am so grateful now that, and go nuts. Write down what it truly is that you want. And again, nothing is too big in this world. You can have it all. You can, with the right mindset. Because with journaling, that produces next level thoughts, that produces next level feelings, that produces next level capabilities, that produces next level actions, that produces next level results. And we all dream of the results that we can have everything so grand. And at least that's what I desire for each and every one of you. However, dreaming is one thing, but then having the ability to manifest, because you're taking those small actions that will help you manifest those dreams, are going to be super important. So with that being said, I again encourage you to say yes to yourself and to start receiving your dreams by identifying what your self-worth is, by using the power of journaling, and then from there, developing those thoughts, feelings, capabilities, actions, and results that are going to really inspire you to do a lot of amazing things in your world. So with that being said, this has been another edition of the World Changing Podcast. My name is Jordan Rosario, and I will close with these three very important phrases. I submit to you to be great. I submit to you to be favored. And I submit to you to be the person you desire and that you're destined to become. Thank you.